This time period involved the South and North. The South consisted of work areas called plantations. Now, in the South, plantations were maintained by slaves, and there were some tenant farmers. Planters, which were the owners of slaves and the plantation, were quite wealthy, and most planters ran the government in the South. The North had socialization in the middle of town, and that was where livestock was also held. One of the jobs was government, and only the men had the right to vote. Other jobs consisted of fishing, whaling, gathering lumber, shipbuilding, and some even ran their own shops. Great Britain traded with American colonies, the embargo with Great Britain, which basically meant trying to force Great Britain to respect American rights. Many inventions of the industrial era are very important, such as the cotton gin, invented by Eli Whitney, which separated the cotton seeds from the cotton used for other purposes, such as clothing. The steel plow, invented by John Deere, used to make farm work easier. The steam engine railroad, invented by Peter Cooper, which was the dominant way of transportation. The steam engine boat, invented by Robert Fulton, used for mainly rivers and gave way to canal building. The telegraph, invented by Samuel Morse, used for Morse code, a way of communication. Sewing machine, invented by Elias Howe. The light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison. And the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell. Urbanization usually contained bad air and a lot of pollution. The cities were usually very overpopulated, which then led to less homes, and the homeless population grew larger and larger. Due to the overpopulation, crime rates went up, and it seemed impossible for people to get good jobs. Products began to increase in prices. Education was much harder to get due to the vast amounts of children in need of a school. This was the Gilded Age, which meant shiny on the outside, poor on the inside. Work was just factory work, which wasn't an ideal workplace due to the conditions and wages. The conditions were pretty much awful. The work area was usually cold, loud, dirty, dangerous. Also, immigration was a big thing due to them taking less money. Americans did not like immigrants at all and treated them very poorly. People got very angry with how they were treated and began to form unions and went on strike. The standard gauge for railroads are 4 feet and 8.5 inches wide, which means the distance between the rails. Consolidating of smaller lines in the Midwest, East and South was important to development to the building of railroads spanning the West, all leading to the rise of industry. Railroads were the best customers of industries. Railroad network bounded all sections of the country, creating one market. Factory work moved overseas, and the U.S. began to do service sector jobs. Child labor laws were being set, a law stating you have to be a certain age before being able to be employed. Teens were still capable of being employed. They were able to get temp jobs. This means jobs that got paid less, and education increased. During this time, computers were created, which made much more job opportunities, which of course boosted the economy. This was all a business globalization. Henry Ford created the Model T Ford, which made a gateway to so much. Roads were created due to the automobile, making it possible for people to live in suburban areas. The automobile interconnected Americans throughout the country. The automobile also made it possible for new jobs and industries, which needed a highway, which led to the highway development. Also for transportation, the airplane was invented in 1903, which gave way to a whole new look at transportation, a much faster way of transportation for long distance, invented by the Wright brothers. Indeed, wages did increase, which led to more homes being bought and products being bought. Ads started to be done to promote products, which then led to even more business.